A mirror, a shoulder, a face returning from the glass, a dress not yet closed, hair not yet arranged, a room that says private, a photograph that says look. These images offer us something very simple: a woman alone with her reflection. That is their attraction, and also their trick. She looks at herself. We look at her. The mirror makes this feel almost innocent. It gives the camera an excuse. She is not posing for us, not exactly. She is occupied with herself, with a ribbon, a necklace, a sleeve, a curl of hair, a face that must be checked before it enters the world. But the photograph changes the meaning of that gesture. To look at oneself is private. To be photographed looking at oneself is something else. The mirror turns a private act into a scene. It softens the directness of the camera. It lets the image say, we are not watching her. She is only watching herself. But of course, the picture exists because someone wanted this looking to be seen. Again and again, the same small theater returns. A woman turns away. Her face comes back in the glass. A body is partly hidden. The mirror gives it back. A dress is adjusted. A shoulder appears. A hand pauses near the cheek. The image does not show everything at once. It delays. It reflects. It withholds. And much of its sensuality comes from that delay. Not from nakedness alone, not even from exposure, but from the moment before the finished appearance, before the street, before the visit, before the theater, before the formal portrait. The mirror belongs to that interval when the body is still being composed. A woman checks herself, but photography turns that checking into performance. The room becomes part of the performance too. The table, the curtain, the chair, the flowers, the bottles, the white fabric, the dark wallpaper, the carefully placed disorder of a dressing room. It looks spontaneous, but it has been arranged. The private room is not simply entered by the camera. It is built for the camera. Sometimes another pair of hands appears. A sleeve is lifted. A fastening is closed. A dress is pulled into shape. Then the mirror is no longer only an object of self-regard. It becomes a witness to work. The feminine image is made, smoothed, tightened, pinned, framed by fabric, hair, jewelry, posture. The body appears natural only after the work has disappeared, and the mirror watches that work before anyone else does. In other photographs, the scene becomes more openly theatrical. The dress grows larger, the pose becomes clearer, the mirror becomes less like furniture and more like a stage device. The woman is no longer simply preparing to be seen. She is already being shown. The mirror multiplies her. Front, side, back, face, waist, shoulder, hair. It promises a fuller view of the body. But the fuller view is also a fragmented one. The person becomes a sequence of surfaces, a public image assembled out of private glances. This is why the mirror is so useful to early photography. It belongs to intimacy, but it also belongs to display. It suggests privacy, but it produces spectacle. It lets the viewer enter the room without admitting that the room has been opened. And then, sometimes, the illusion breaks. The camera appears inside the mirror. The secret becomes technical. A woman stands before the glass, and in the reflection, we see the machine itself, the instrument that turns the room into an image. At that moment, the mirror is no longer only a symbol of vanity or intimacy. It becomes part of the photographic apparatus. Glass looks at glass. The reflected face meets the camera. The private room reveals its machinery. And suddenly, these old photographs look forward, toward the self-portrait, toward the mirror photograph, toward the modern habit of looking at ourselves while preparing to be seen by others. She looks into the mirror, the camera looks at her, and we look at the place where those two acts meet, not simply vanity, not simply intimacy, not simply desire, something more delicate. A private gesture arranged for another gaze. The mirror seems to belong to her, but once it enters the photograph, it belongs also to the viewer. It becomes a passage, from the room to the image, from self-regard to spectacle, from looking at oneself to being looked at. The mirror was never private. It was already a frame. For more sensuous journeys through old photographs, visit Reading Frames.